'Tis the gift to be simple, 'tis the gift to be free. Hi everyone, welcome to episode 120 of SPNatI's Kitchen Tips, in which we discuss 3 to 4 course meals on both the testing and main rosters, asking ourselves whether or not people have in fact cooked. I'm your host and head chef SPNanon, here with my loyal assistant, sous chef Nord, as well as our guest, returning guest, and disgruntled dishwasher, Tweetsy. The good news is our galley is located on one of those ritzy, fancy trains that can afford a kitchen, so he'll chin up.
Yeah, I did actually work washing dishes at a Bojangles for my very first job. It was not fun. I now have a much better job, where I will not say. But if y'all are in the server, you know. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Well, I mean, working at a Bojangles does kind of put you in a rough geographical area. But
I'm still distinctly south, just a lot farther south now.
It has always been Tweetsy's lifelong dream to drive the bus for Warner Brothers. I think I got that right.
Be quiet.
So yeah, returning guest. We brought him on to talk about some extra spice that has been added to Nadeshiko, his pride and joy. We'll be talking about that last. We have a 4-course meal for you today. All very, very interesting topics. Not the standard testing and main roster additions. A variety of updates and bonus content. No host showing corner this time. We do that every other time. This is the continuation of our Labor Day 2025 recording session. Here we have the third model, I believe, for Shamiko, the demon girl next door.
Wait, the third? Really?
I think so, yeah. She had not full model change, but like iteration of her face. And her eyes, at least, I think. Like, Latka is the developer for her, the main developer. And he's gone through, he had like a first attempt at her eyes, then he had a second attempt, which I think looked kind of better sometimes and then worse in some other poses. Here, I believe he got some help from Locket before Locket dipped. I believe this is one of the last things he worked on. And, I mean, for my money at least, this is like third time's the charm. I think he really nailed the look. This matches like the anime that she's from super well. But that's the main thing that's changed. I don't think her whole model got overhauled. It was just another coat of paint over her face and her expression range. But yeah, I think it looks super good. Tweetsy, what's your opinion on this update for Shamiko?
Just as a real quick aside, you can compare it here to the Demon of Fantasia costume that hasn't been updated to see the difference in the eyes. Take it away, Tweetsy.
All right, so first things first, I do want to say the new eyes just look a lot more in proportion with her face. I think the old eyes made her face look a little fat, if I'm being honest, like a little too fat. I think, the new eyes just make it so, just look so much better. And so, they feel a lot more, her makes her head look a lot more in proportion. So, this goes to show that sometimes a little bit of tweaking can go a long way. Another thing I want to say, I definitely agree that, the fact that, the Demon of Fantasia outfit still needs to be updated. It's a little bit jarring when you swap costumes and then he's like, oh gosh, there's the old one. So, I don't know how hard of a change it would be, but it does need to be fixed, pretty soon. And hey, she's still as awkwardly confident as ever, so there's that as well.
Hey, callback.
Yes. And the disco's confidently awkward, and I'm proud of it, and I think that's a beautiful thing. Anyway, one last thing I will say, just quick aside, the Nadeshiko is also getting an outfit from the same game as an alt costume from Chiara Fantasia, which was a spin-off game for Mangaton Chiara. Hopefully that'll be coming out sooner rather than later. My man has been helping me out with that. We'll share more about that when it eventually hits testing.
It's always fun when someone gets an update because it's a good excuse to play them again. Shamiko is cute as ever. I don't know if her posing really got an update as part of it, but I do just want to shout out how great Shamiko's posing actually is. She has so many different varieties for the funny shapes her tail makes. Like when she's shocked, it straightens out and goes spiky. When she's having a very good time towards the end of her forfeit, it turns into a heart shape, that sort of thing. And I think the eyes really help reinforce the already good posing in that regard. In general, Shamiko is just a very cute character. Funnily enough, for a demon girl that transforms mid-game, she's almost kind of a safe pick to have, just because she doesn't have any she has the cartoony facial expressions, but she doesn't have any super over the top reactions to the game, so she's just a very enjoyable presence to have. And overall I think the art update was worth it, and I hope she continues to get updates.
I mean, she does go through a whole magical girl transformation when she has to get her tits out. That's kind of an overreaction.
Well, I mean, magical girls are the
that's
are the enemy in Shamiko series. So sort of, they're frenemies.
Yeah, her fremesis.
So yeah, it's
that's what she calls it, her fremesis. But yeah, I did say that for it is funny that for a girl that transforms mid-game because she's losing, it's funny that she feels like a just standard pick for most of the game. So yeah, overall I think this was very good. It is in essence the last contribution of the artist formerly known as Lockett, now that they've left. But, it's a good contribution overall, I'd say.
Well, hey, you never know. Time heals all wounds, changes all sorts of things. Absolutely adorbs. That's what I wrote down. I mean, she was cute before, but this, I mean, you finally fucking nailed it. This is I always thought her eyes looked a little off before. I'm gonna guess it was struggling to capture it exactly, but the Lockett came in really saved the day here. I mean, there's a lot of little changes. It's sort of the same basic shape, but you can tell these are, I think, a lot more custom, just in the overall construction of the eyes to get that exact tareme shape. The eye shine, the highlights are on the other side, it looks like. And overall, they just they have a lot more going on. There's extra shine, a darker or highlight or shine kind of at the top of her eyes, her irises. They're bigger. They're more they're spaced a bit more widely, which I think helps with her facial proportions. Tweety was talking about her fat face. I'm sure she'd appreciate that. Yeah, just a bunch of little things that really paid off. I mean, I think it's something that amateur artists, me included, can kind of get hung up on, is trying to fix little details. And this is like a bigger change compared to what the change she went through last time, and that leaves a stronger impression on the viewer. It's often something you want to go big with art. Is generally what you want to do, especially with an anime style. But yeah, hey man, he probably had to swallow his pride a little bit to accept help, outside help to finally get this face right. But hey, that's what happened to me, because I was just dragging my face, my feet so long in getting started with Maya and Jura's updates, and in the meantime, Hologic came in and fixed their faces. It's well, it looks fucking good. I might as well use it. So, just take your licks, and because it's for the good of the character. But yeah, and like her cuteness enhances the writing as well. It shows how good the writing was to begin with. And I don't want to denigrate the art she had before, because it's not like it was bad. This is just that much better. And it really makes her shine. And her writing remains entertaining. Nord pointed out her poker tail, how much she emotes with her tail. That's very fun, poker face, poker tail. She has other malapropisms and awkwardness. She has filtered lines for psychic characters. She keeps thinking to herself and asking them if they can read what she's thinking. It's kind of ironic for a poker game. Oh, that's what I wrote. It's like she's always fun. She's always expressive. You always know exactly what she's thinking. She's terrible at hiding it, and that's very ironic for a poker game. But yeah, she remains entertaining, and now she has the art to match the writing. I always really liked the writing. And there's no hang-ups on her art anymore. Very nice update. Well, here we have another art update. I think this one is a bit more substantial, or at least covers more surface area. It's Wii Fit Trainer, who has gone through a number of model updates herself. I mean, she is one of the oldest projects in the entire game. I don't know if she's 2015 or 16. I think she's 16, because I think only the original 4 were in 2015. But she is like an early 2016 character, I want to say.
According to her, I think her description on the page, she was added August 1st, 2015, making her, I think, the next character added after. I think there was like new characters added in 2014 after the original 4, and I believe that was Asuna from Sword Art Online, and then from there, that's when I think in like mid-August, that's when Joseph Cantil originally dropped the game, and before it was picked up the year after.
Pretty soon there's going to be unscrupulous kids who are jerking off to this game who weren't even born when it was published. Not that they should be. We don't condone that, of course.
The game's celebrating its 10th anniversary, though. Kind of let it pass very quietly, which makes me kind of sad. I feel like we could have done, a lot more to celebrate, but that's just me.
Did we? We posted about it on Twitter and Blue Sky, and I changed the icon on itch.io to reflect that it's the 10th anniversary.
Fair enough, but I don't know. I feel like we could.
But yeah, you're right in that she was the second new character added to the game after the original 4, so she's the 6th character overall.
But she doesn't feel like it. She's gotten updates every now and then, kind of keeping her relevant. I mean, I think she's a pretty simple premise that works well for the game to begin with. So there's not a whole lot about her that needs to be updated. But yeah, she's got some new posing. She's got new chest and like a face and proportions, I think. You can see she's doing more with like the leg, like the custom leg posing, which is obviously great for a character like her. Unlike Saria, we talked about last time, Wii Fit Trainer is pretty much the perfect cell for this kind of game. Jerk off instruction, all that. But yeah, this is most of the art was done by Bluecoin, I believe, and Andrew. I think one of her original devs has been around lately and adding some dialogue to her as well, and making other contributions. But yeah, Tweetsy, what do you think of this update to Wii Fit Trainer? She's had a number over the years, and she's still chugging along.
To begin with, I want to just say that, like I think we talked, for being our oldest character, it is truly incredible to see a character this old continually updated. Now, you're right. I'm 22 now. I'm sure you can take a guess of how old I was when this game came out. I didn't even know of it at the time. So, just to get a perspective, I'm 20. I am, just graduated college. So, I am, in terms like, anyway. So with the current, I really, again, like I said, for one of our oldest characters, we're constantly updated and improved. It's something I really like seeing because, it's nice to see a character this old continuing to get, the tender loving care that she's, tender loving care. So, to me, it's really happy. I really like it. Also the Wii Fit Trainer is just a very appealing character design. So there is that. The breast and butt in particular looked fantastic. She did a butt pose early in the game where you could see how toned her rear end is, and I think you may have been able to see the what poking out, but I thought it looked fantastic. It was beautifully done.
Vulva?
Yes, I thought it looked beautiful and fantastic. Hot damn. So yeah, I think this. I don't really have too many thoughts on this, but I thought it was great. Also, just unrelated to the costume, real quick, but she does still have a standing forefit, which I think makes sense for the Wii Fit Trainer, being a yoga instructor. But I don't know. I'd like to see her show off more of that flexibility because I think she has only a couple poses where she shows it off. I don't know. I think it'd be a lot of fun to have her have some flex around a little more as she's doing the deed. I think that would add a lot.
I get what you're saying about extra variety. However, I did write down standing masturbation, broke. Standing split masturbation, woke.
Fair enough. Yeah, I don't have many thoughts on the Wii Fit Trainer. I mean, she, just the fact, she's over as she's, one of our oldest characters and she continues to get updates is truly incredible. So, yeah, I guess I'll pass it over to Nord. Well, what did you think of the Wii Fit Trainer?
Thank you for posting that, Nord. I do like the standing split.
I do think she's one of the few characters that can really get away with standing forfeit these days. Standing forfeits were never good ideas, really, but for Trainer, it does make sense that she'd continue to do it and continue to be gymnastic and just flex on everyone, literally so. I will confess that for reasons that are inexplicable even to me, I really, really like the Wii Fit Trainer. I think it does lean into the fact that, there's the idea there that, she doesn't speak in a robotic way, but she speaks in a very, neutral and upbeat way, and there's something oddly appealing about that if you have the special kind of mental deficiency that I apparently have for her. My notes are awooga, booba, really like Wii Fit Trainer in general, so this is a great improvement. And overall, I would say that Blue Coin's did a great job updating her art-wise. I know Andrew, that's his username, isn't it? Yeah. He's been looking to update her. I think he's a bit busy at this current moment in time because I was trying to give him ideas for JOI, JOE type lines that can be added to Wii Fit, especially to take advantage of the fact that she's quite a robust character in that you can feel that the foundation of her lines were made in an era where there probably weren't nearly as many conditions that we currently have when she was last updated. So it was a good way to take advantage of new variables, new tags to target, including ones for the player specifically. So hopefully she gets more dialogue updates as well. Overall, I think it's turned out really well.
Let's jerk that cock. That's how I imagine her talking.
Yes, exactly.
20 repetitions. Exercise those balls on the exercise ball. Please assume the position. I mean, yeah, this is a character. I'll start off with the writing real quick, just revisiting her. I mean, this is a character I've always felt like it just totally understands the assignment. This is she's real simple. She's an easy sell. You can tell why she'd be comfortable getting naked and comfortable with her body and comfortable talking about quote unquote exercise and forms of exercise related to this game. Very easy to see the appeal. her giving a lot of exercise tips. They felt very Blue Coin coded. I don't know if he wrote any lines, but they've been around for a while. It just made me think of him because like Helper Chan does that, for instance. But yeah, like she's been around so long, I'm not actually sure like which lines of hers are kind of older and which ones are like newer contributions by Andrew. But I mean, it felt relatively cohesive. Let's see. Yeah, like a lot of her lines feel very flat, but the flatness fits with the tone that she's going for. And I like the very fitness-focused judgment that she has. Like sometimes she'll like get on characters for like, you know, not exercising enough, but it's always like she's so concerned with body over clothes. She doesn't really care about the clothes. It's like, let's get those clothes off. Always body over fashion. And yeah, she has very fun trivia as well related to like doing fitness in the nude.
Yeah, I was about to say because I play, you know, when I play with the Wii Fit Trainer, I always use my own body type when playing SPNatI, which is a little bit on the chubby side, and she's very critical of it. That is something I'm working on. Admittedly, I'm working on, you know.
You should kill yourself now.
Dude, what the frick?
I have never been more disappointed. Like that's her.
But like, yeah, like the point stands is, you know, like, you know, with, you know, the Wii Fit Trainer update, yeah, I mean, it's great to see. But like, yeah, I mean, because you know what? But also body positivity, people.
That's true. I just riffed that on the spot. But what does she say to chubby people?
Like she's just like, you need to work out more, basically. Is what I wrote.
Well, okay. Maya and Jura can be pretty mean about that as well. You should see they kind of get on like the thick hex maniac. Like, I felt bad because like she doesn't even have a response. She just clams up and is sad. They call her fat.
Damn, poor girl.
Jura's just like, well, it's true. We'll talk about Hex Maniac in a future episode. But so art wise, very nice stripping poses. She has a lot of like folded clothes. Nord, if you can post some of those. Yeah, it's kind of like a Kyoko strength, where like the folded up clothes assets look pretty decent. More butts, I wrote. The butts she does have are relatively good. I think you could go even harder with a fitter butt with more detailing. I mean, as always, I'll point to Maya, for instance. But if you just add like extra lines and shading all around the butt to define the shape more, it'll look more fit and more toned, and that obviously suits her really well, and that would go hard. I don't think the poses have hugely changed, even though the model has. I mean, they work perfectly well. There are some nice new stretching poses with the new custom legs. Am I crazy?
I didn't realize she got custom legs. Holy cow!
Am I crazy? Like, did she used to be shaved? She has like very like thick gray pubes now. I don't remember that. They're a little whack, in my opinion.
I don't remember.
I mean, she has gray hair. I guess that makes sense.
I don't think she used to be. I think it used to be like because it was a Kisake default, your mind probably just ignored it. That's
true. I think it may have been a default, which tends to make them less like not solid colors most of the time, unless you go for like the hairiest setting. But anyway, I'm not in love with her new boobs. They're fine, but if you stare at them a little too hard, the curve is a little squished. It's a little flattened compared to what it should be. It seems like arbitrarily or artificially like pressed in just a little bit, and they should hang a little wider. Mostly fine though. And lastly, I want to say on a couple poses, like when the Kisekai default like bra straps would be a little like, or would be like digging in or like riding up towards your neck a little bit, stuff like that. It's a little jank. It's a little like rigidly bent on like her strip. You can see it here on the stretching pose that you did. It's just like a hard like 45-degree angle, and you want to make that a nice smooth curve. There's some jank with like her thong riding up as well, if you can find that pose. Overall, though, like the pokies, like the sweat. She's got so many little appealing things going on, and just nice detailing on the custom breasts inside the tank top as well. Always an appealing character, continues to be an appealing character. One of the greats of SPNatI. Agreed?
Agreed.
Yep. I did find a copy of her older model there, and I was right. It was
Okay,
she did
yeah.
have pubes, but they were a lighter gray.
They were more sparse. You can see the skin underneath, which in my opinion is better. Like, cause that's normally how hair works. You can see like especially like body hair. But yeah, we're not quite done with art updates, or we kind of are. This is not an art update, but a whole separate alt costume, and quite the alternate costume it is. So, to give you a timetable of events here, Amy Rose, the hedgehog from Sonic the Hedgehog series, the big like girl of the Sonic series, she was another very old character, possibly 2016, although I think more likely like an early 2017 character. Never in much of a good state. I'm not sure if she was ever even on main. Maybe she predated testing to begin with. But she was not great. She was, I mean, you can imagine with the limited Kisekai of the time, very limited. Basically just looked like a K-On character cosplaying as Amy Rose.
Infamous for the line of dialogue, "Screams and Hedgehog."
Screams and Hedgehog. Yes.
What the actual frick?
Yeah, that doesn't even make any sense. Like, they all speak English/Japanese. There's no animal language. Yeah, so that was the OG Amy Rose. She never had much of a presence in the game. And what followed was in 2020, I think is when the project started. Maybe she made main in 2021. You have Amy Rose developed by Son Amy, who you can imagine by his name. He didn't stick around long after putting Amy Rose in the game, but yeah, a full revamp and basically sticking to that precedent that the original Amy established, because I think she was the first like Sonic character or attempt at a Sonic character, which is the Gijinka approach, where it's like a more humanized version of them with most of the same like attributes, like the same like red dress and everything, but adapted to an anime girl, basically. And that is the approach that Rouge the Bat took as well. Rouge followed after this, or after Amy, I think a year or two afterwards. And I mean, a lot of people approved of that, either thought it was a good adaptation or just said they straight up prefer it that way compared to attempting like an actual on model, like 3 foot tall, super deformed anthropomorphic hedgehog or bat or whatever. Those people obviously did not grow up with like Sonic Adventure 2 or anything. They don't want to bang the 3 foot cartoon animals. Okay, the Rouge never bounced her giant bat titties in their face as children. Well, they weren't imprinted upon.
Okay, I just checked. Original Amy was added in April of 2017.
Okay, that sounds about right. But yeah. So, I mean, Gijinka, I mean, that was just like more practical, especially back in the day with how limited Kisekai was, even in like 2020, 2021. And once the floodgates were opened, especially like in 2023 or so, I believe it was last year, Rouge got the Bonafide Bat alt skin, which is just full-on Canon Rouge, bat titties and all. She's got humongous ass, hands and feet, and I had a lot of praise for her. I think they absolutely nailed it pretty much. They made her look great. It was everything I could have hoped for. My only complaint was that she didn't become the default skin. And Amy at that point had been basically abandoned for quite a while. She had not received any updates. She did have dialogue with Rouge. They overlapped there. But people were asking for a while. They were like, Rouge has got her Canon alt. When's Amy going to get hers? When's Amy going to get hers? And it was clear, like, she's obviously not going to get hers. No one's working on her. A little while ago, Son Amy just popped up out of the blue. It's like, hey, I've had this Canon Amy alt for a while now. I'm just going to drop this and leave again. And here she is, Canon Amy Rose, standing on a box because she can't fly. And she's 3 feet tall. But yeah, Amy Rose now has a Canon alt to go alongside Rouge the Bat. I never thought it would happen. I fully admit. But yeah, Tweetsy, what's your take on Canon Amy Rose? How does she compare to Canon Rouge? And just in general, does she maintain the appeal?
Okay. I'm going to be 100% honest. My opinion here isn't exactly the highest. I gotta be real. The model is not the prettiest. With Rouge, the Canon Rouge looked amazing. Like it looked a lot like the Sonic art style, but like this, the Canon Amy just, I don't know. It's something about it just doesn't feel right. I think it feels like I think it's like the eyes in particular, and there's like it feels like a lot of it, feels like KKL stuff that's been resized. I feel like a lot of custom work could have done a lot of heavyweight lifting here. Also, as part of this, the box randomly just shoots up when she does her climax, and I'm like, that's like a very another like a really jarring error with the art. Another thing is with the way her body is sort of like how the fur and the flesh kind of mesh on the body. I'm not entirely. It's less of a criticism, more of like, is this actually how Amy's like body would look under the dress? I guess like we have the other Sonic characters for precedent, but it's like, I don't know. So, but yeah, it's just like, I gotta be real. I'm not a fan of Canon Amy Rose, and I feel super bad for saying that, but it's just like, it's just design wise, I feel like she could have been. I feel like she needed some more work. I think especially in the eye department.
I should reiterate, like, I'm pretty sure that this has existed for a while and just wasn't submitted to the game. Like,
okay, that's
I think
fair.
it predates actually, like the Kisekai advancements that made Bonafide Bat Rouge especially possible.
Okay,
You can kind of see because like she does not have the huge hands and feet, for instance.
I mean the hands are just extremely scaled up versions of the Kisekai hands, and it does look super weird. But like, yeah, it's just like, I don't know. I feel like Kane and Amy's going to need needs a revision of needs to be revised.
I mean, you shouldn't feel bad for criticizing her. I mean, I have some criticisms of my own, but unless you have anything else to say, we can pass it off.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, Norb, you go ahead. What do you think of Amy Rose's Canon appearance?
I did do a bit of research before, after doing a playtest game with her, just to get a feel for what people tend to do with her design. Apparently, going by an appearance in the anime Sonic X, she's not supposed to have the cream color on her belly. It's supposed to just be flat pink, but that's only one design. I think I really I've honed in on what the actual issue is with the design. So I do want to counterbalance that by first saying that it is what the people have been asking for. I haven't really seen feedback complaining about the addition of the Canon proportions Amy Rose. It's good to see it, having just been people have been asking for it for a long time. And more short stack representation, always appreciated. You can have characters that are viable for the game that are just very short and at the same time stacked. In general, though, I think the issue really comes down to her brow. Just the one flaw with this interpretation of her is that because it uses Kisekai eyes that have very thick black eye. It's not even eyebrows. It's the eyelid, the eyelash, and it's not covered up with face marks. It makes her brow a lot thicker than it should be that it should be in general. Here I've gotten some images. Funnily enough, this like Magic the Gathering crossover art is one of the best ones I could find for like her comics design on short notice. But basically, like if you look at these, you can see that like in the two ones where she has the mono eye, the like actual eyelash like ring around her eye is very thin compared to the rest of her face. It's like just one thin line going, like following the contours of it. I think, however, it would have been a good idea to follow in the footsteps of what they've done for the movie, and what I think Rouge the Bat just looks like this in general. Yeah, Rouge has the the split down the middle, like the nose ridge. And I do think that that is a concession that has to be made for the sake of looking good. But even if you don't do that and you want to go with the big old mono eye, you have to really get...
What do you mean? You mean like how her eyes are separate?
Yeah, like I think it works better for Rouge, for example, to have the eyes be separate. And it's like for the...
Well, that's just the way Rouge is. She just has different eyes than Amy.
I know, but I'm making the argument here that maybe it would have been worth doing what the movie has done and splitting the eyes up so that it looks slightly better in this different style. But I think the real issue is really all like focused on that, like the brow itself hasn't been done quite right. And so I think that's what makes the model look a little off-putting to us, or at least to me and Tweetsy. The rest of my notes were just that, like, the trick with having a prop for the character to stand on is that you need to make sure that the big, heavy-looking prop doesn't randomly move with all of her poses. From what I gather, this may have been a bit of a rush job from Sonami to just get the costume done while he still had motivation to do it. So it's like, I get it. It's not going to look completely static in every pose because the cropping's going to be weird. But if there was ever going to be a revision of this, I think getting the box to like have slight amount of depth and not move around in every pose would definitely be something to keep in mind. Overall, I think Amy is just kind of fine. Like, obviously she hasn't really had any dialogue update to go along with this, apart from, you know, the bare minimum to make sure that, like, things for her costume work. But she doesn't, like, talk to newer characters, she doesn't target a lot of newer tags. So just like reevaluating her based on how she has been for a while now, she's just okay in my books. She's not really a regular at my tables. But overall, though, it's better to have this costume in the game than not, I would say.
So I am the resident Sonic guy here, is what I'm gathering. Let me put it to you this way. Old heads will remember. There was like a 4 or 5.5 hour old classic podcast episode where we just like riffed about Sonic games or whatever for a while with Joe. I had nothing but praise for Bonafide Bat Rouge, but yeah, I don't think this is up to the same standard. Which makes sense if it was done in an older Kisekai. But yeah. She seems off, and when you put her next to Rouge, you can immediately see the problems. It's like it's a half measure, is what it is. The head and the extremities are too small. It's like what I was saying with Shamiko. Like it seems like, oh, you know, I can't make her head and her hands and her feet that big. That seems wrong, but it's not. They need to be that big. So it looks like a Steamboat Willie, you know, cartoon character. She's got to have the rubber hose, arms, and legs instead of these weird Kisekai like human ones with like defined thighs. It's Sonic designs are very easy to get wrong. They walk a very narrow tightrope across the uncanny valley. And I just think in all respects, like, it's not like horrible. It's not completely wrong, but yeah, the proportions are just not there. she needs the big hands and feet and head. And her brow is not perfect either. It needs to be more rounded. Her mono eye needs to be a little like wider and bigger. And I think her irises actually need to take up less space on it. And I think be a little closer together. She looks a little wall-eyed. And a big thing I didn't notice until about halfway through, but she has eyebrows. She has like actual eyebrows that move. Because again, that seems like something that should be there, but no. Like Amy and Sonic and a couple of the other characters do not have eyebrows. They mostly emote with their eyelids and like moving the actual brow, which is not easy to do, I imagine. But that's how it is.
I mean, Mickey Mouse does something similar, so
Yeah. Those are the big problems. The others are just little things. Her outfit is kind of lacking detail. It's just like a default Kisekai red dress. With enough fixes, she might not need the box. Maybe just, if anyone adopts her, maybe just scale her up. I guess it'd be a little weird if she was bigger than Rouge, but if it would help her like just stand normally and not be on a box, I think it would help because like that's not the way she interacts with humans. In Sonic, she just looks up at them. And there are definitely some designs where like they're like Sonic 06, for instance, where she's like taller and lankier and maybe closer to like 4 feet. It's like you go with that. And then she'd just be a short character. And the other problem with the box is that like boxes, like crates, are not really a super big design, or like it's not part of the Sonic iconography. Maybe if she was standing on like one of those flashing TV monitors with the rings inside, that'd be something at least. Or she's just bouncing on a spring all game. You can see her skirt.
She needs to bounce on an item box with Sonic's face on it.
Yeah, get an extra life. She's just curled up into a ball all game. But yeah, her expressions are actually pretty decent, which is challenging, especially with these custom eyes. So again, this is not like completely horrible, terrible. It's just not quite there for me. And she's missing some of the white in her eyes. Also, I got collectibles from her, but they're based on the default skin. So it was like the default boots and sweater she wears. And I'm like, what the hell? You were not wearing these clothes in the game. Oh, and I think if you could find it, Nord, I think she uses like a pillow in her forefit. The pillow looked kind of messed up. I don't really remember why. Maybe it was like too square.
Oh yeah, I forgot to take a note of that, but it goes from being like a small pillow in her hand to being a massive stretched out pillow on top of the crate.
Yeah, it just looks like stretched and flatty. Just yeah.
Because the box itself doesn't have.
You just took that in Photoshop and oh, weird. It's like her hands get bigger when like she's naked. But yeah, it's not quite done well enough, unfortunately.
Again, it was pretty much rushed to get a Canon all out, but like I don't know. I feel like it could have used some more time in the oven.
I do think it's always funny with like Sonic fan artists who want to jerk off to them, especially than like the Canon designs, because they always have to decide what they look like underneath the clothes, like the girls anyway. Like do they have the skin tone or the fur tone on most of their bodies? And people go back and forth on that. But yeah, like again, like you said, Nord, I think like it's not bad enough where I think the game is worse off for having it, and people don't really seem to be complaining about it. So hey, if it's good enough for you, that's nice. But for me, at least, the default is probably worth sticking to.
Yeah, just stick to the Gajinka design if you're going to play with Amy. I mean, if you want to play with like a Canon Sonic design, Rouge is probably your best bet.
Also, I'm going to bitch about her writing just a tad. She's only called Amy on the character select screen. Her name is Amy Rose. She's always marketed as Amy Rose. She should not just be Amy. Also, I'm bitching about her and Rouge's targeted dialogue because they're very chummy with each other. I understand they're supposed to be aged up, but like maybe this is just me and my Sonic Adventure 2 brain. Characters have moved on, but like she and Rouge should not be friends. She doesn't like Rouge at all. She treats her like a hussy, and she's annoyed in like Sonic Battle and tries to beat the shit out of her. She's kind of lifeless at times, a little flatly descriptive. I think she needed some stronger opinions, and she was apparently ignorant of the masturbation rule. That's how you can tell she's old. Oof. Also, a final note. Again, I'm just a Sonic boomer, sorry, but a final note here. Ironically, so she like friend zones you, the player, all game, even though she says that you invited her here. She's all about Sonic. Ironically, apparently in more recent Sonic games, they are moving her character away from being obsessed with Sonic, so she's friend zoning him now too. She's putting everybody in the friend zone. She's got nobody. She's a strong, independent female character. Hashtag not my Amy Rose. Okay, ironically, the canon moved more towards SPNatI in a weird way. That's my final message. I am a Sonic boomer. So yeah, Canon alt. Decent, not great, but some may find value in it. Not a complete wash. Any final thoughts?
Oh boy, I'm gonna get some hedgehog stew today.
Nothing as usual, I see.
Fapping as usual. Well, Tweetsy, we made you wait through 6 agenda items across 2 episodes, and it is finally time for you to talk about why you are on these podcast episodes. And it is because of the brand new epilogue that has been added. Male for now, but you said you're working on a female one as well.
A female project version is in the works.
For Nadeshiko Kagamihara from Yuru Camp. So yeah, you go to a nudist camp, I believe, and you fuck her. So tell us all about how this came into existence and how, the overall process of you working on her and working on this epilogue. What's going on?
So, all right, this is going to be a long tale. So,
Skin camp, it's called, by the way, nude camp, harakyan in Japanese. Anyway, go ahead.
So, the idea for this project actually dates back to March of 2023. Keep in mind, Nadeshiko would not hit testing until July of that year, and Nadeshiko had already been fully written at this point, ready for testing. It was just at the time I was waiting on Kuroi to finish the art, so I could go ahead and get the project, get her onto testing. And I had the idea brewing for an epilogue, and I was like, well, what would be the most appealing concept for a Nadeshiko epilogue? And I decided to go with a nudist camping trip, because I figured Yuru Camp being a series about girls going camping, obviously it needs to incorporate camping in some way, and obviously being this epilogue, I thought, what better way to pornify it than make it like you and Nadeshiko going camping in the nude. So yeah, and so this is not the first outdoor nudist epilogue. Mari Setagaya's came out, I think, sometime back as well. And I posted the script in March of 2023. The project existed in that state for, oh Lord, would have been for about 2 years, and then I kind of worked on it for fits and starts. However, past few weeks ago, I decided, okay, enough is enough. I've waited forever to get this project done. We're going to buckle down, and we're going to get this epilogue out the door ASAP. And so, long story short, I sat down, finished the epilogue, got all the animation done, and I will say things were significantly harder for this one than it was for Miku's epilogue, at least for part of it. The big thing with Nadeshiko's epilogue was the fact that my artist, Purple Kuroi, had left the community at this point, so they weren't really able to help me do the art for this project. So ultimately, with Purple Kuroi having already left the community, this, made the epilogue development a lot more difficult, meaning because I could not rely on them to help me get this project done. So eventually, I got the epilogue out, and I, posted it when I was taking a month-plus long break from the community. I was still developing it during the project, and, well, long story short, Nadeshiko made it to the main, Nadeshiko made it the epilogue came out, and I am, genuinely super proud of it because, it's an epilogue that makes a ton of sense for Nadeshiko as a character. So, I've already, this being my epilogue, I think it's only right that you two give your thoughts on it and tell me how good of a job I did.
Well, to bring this down to earth a little bit, you just gotta go to camp and you're naked and you bang. But yeah, I get what you're saying. Like, yeah, needing to suddenly pivot and do the art yourself could not have been easy.
No. That being said, I am getting help for certain project, for some new alt costumes upcoming. I mentioned earlier when we were talking about Shamiko, I've got an alt for Nadeshiko based on her appearance in Chiara Fantasia. And then I also post, I've also got a costume coming based on Nadeshiko's movie design from the Eurocamp movie, which is being done by little David. So we do have a lot. So I am at least getting help on a lot of the art projects. I'm also making my own alt costume for the pajama event. Hopefully it'll be done next month. No guarantees.
Yeah, so fundamentally, just broadly speaking about epilogues, I think the real thing of an epilogue is that it'll let you tell a story and let you sell an idea of you getting to do something with a character. Even without getting into quality to start with. And a lot of people just appreciate having epilogues for a character in general because it's more content with a character they've enjoyed so far. This is sort of a very great idea for an Nadeshiko epilogue because it's something super specific to her. I have talked with you about this, and you even talked about this a bit before we started recording, about how Miku's epilogue was a bit more... It was a bit of a rehash of the epilogue that Saki Nikaido, the Zombieland Saga one, the one she had. And it was a bit more just a general idea for a singer, performer in general. But one like this, where you go to a camp with Nadeshiko, that's really only something that works with the Eurocamp characters, because that's basically the whole point of their show, and is what 99% of fan content will involve, I imagine. So, just in general, I think you've had the fundamentally right idea with this epilogue. In terms of the actual quality of it, I did playtest it a little while after it had come out, and then I gave you my feedback, and I've actually both seen you improve it, and I've had to help you improve it, which I've been fine to do for the most part. I do think with the slight improvements it is even better, and I don't think anyone can really fault you for having to both learn how to do all of these assets yourself and learn how to do the epilogue editor yourself again. Because, it's been so long since you did Miku's one as well, and this one definitely feels a lot more ambitious. I think in particular the camera movements that I had you add have done a lot to really help sell some of the scenes, because even if you just just on a technical level, even if you reuse the same background for multiple scenes, having different levels of camera zoom and panning around for slight animation or implication of movement does a lot to sell it visually. Story-wise, it's very straightforward. It's very Nadeshiko, sort of a very cozy thing. I'm not saying this to bash you at all, but I can you can very much tell that a lot of this is your appeal. It's what you want out of this sort of interaction with Nadeshiko, and you know what? That's perfectly fine. That's what we're here for, is to make the characters and the content we like. And for Eurocamp, it doesn't really get that much content compared to some of the some of the media giants out there. Eurocamp doesn't get a lot of this sort of content anyway. So anything that you're contributing is already a net positive. Overall, I say you've done a pretty good job with this. There's always small areas that you can look to improve to that, but I feel like I've already given my initial wave of feedback for that, so hopefully spnanon and maybe in future others can help you out, like to improve it even further.
Well, I'll say I introduced it as Skin Camp. It is called Nude Camp, but I believe I helped contribute to this naming process as well as Arian, resident Japanese expert. But yeah, Hada-kyan. Very, very nice pun. Apparently sounds good to Japanese speakers as well because it's like 4 sounds or so. But yeah, Hada means skin and kyan means camp, but Haraka also means nude. So it works on a lot of levels. So I just like the title alone. But
I forget who helped me out with the logo because I know I went through a few different iterations, and obviously I base it directly on the Yuru Camp logo. So
yeah, you were comparing this to Miku's Hatsune Miku's epilogue. I remember being a bit down on that because it was like similar to Saki's, from Zombieland Saga, and he even used like her dressing room. But I remember like this felt a lot like Miku's, like it was narrated kind of like Miku's, like where it sort of like says like what the player did, like you did this, you did that, you thought this, and it like the plot is basically you meeting up with the character to have sex, but that's not a bad thing necessarily. The chibi little profile picture she had, and for like the texting conversation was fun. And the extra like props and assets for like her making ramen, for instance.
The chibi was taken directly from my from the anime. I pulled a picture of it.
Even still, just like going the extra mile to like add that stuff in, and her like cooking, for instance, that's a fun little scene. Although someone pointed this out already, but some of them had issues interacting. Like she's putting in the noodles like behind the pot instead of in them, or instead of in it. Nadeshiko is a character that has been a lot more popular with both players and devs than I anticipated. Actually, like I was a little down on her when she first came on testing, but she has beaten the odds, at least in my estimation. I was wrong. I didn't invest in Nadeshiko coin. But, she's had a lot of interactions, a lot of fun dual forfeits. People like her a lot, and I'm glad that she has this content now. And her mischievousness is charming. I like how she's got that edge to her. I agree with Nord that a lot more, even if you don't want to do much animation, zooming in more camera movement can really help sell the motion and dynamism of a scene. There's especially like towards the end of it, there's sort of a slow tempo or a lack of motion or like a acceleration at the end. Like, it's like, you want to build up to that finish where it just kind of holds the same tempo the whole time. Other little minor things I said. When like the flashing effect for like when you're about to come, that also like that's a little janky with like the animation settings. Was kind of like there didn't seem to be much of a rhythm to it. I wrote down epilepsy warning.
Oh Jesus, I'm sorry.
It's not actually that bad. I was just messing with it. But also I wrote, why did my dick become purple? Because I was gray before and now it's purple. I've learned apparently that's supposed to be a condom.
Yeah, it's a condom. We put a condom on, but I probably should still recolor the bottom part of that of the dick to match the the main outfit because I wanted to
Wait,
show up.
Oh yeah, is this one of the ones you borrowed from Saki's epilogue?
Yes, I borrowed because Mr. Solitaire is nice enough to allow people to use his sprites, and it makes.
He's nice enough to edit the podcast for free.
No, it's from Saki Yoshida's, the one with Morris and Gaia.
That's right.
The dick is blue and the condom's purple. I did that.
I may have actually made that sprite. I don't remember.
I got to be honest, man. I have to actively remember that condoms exist. That's not how I roll. It's a fantasy, okay? She won't get pregnant because she just doesn't want to, so it'll be fine. Yeah. Her juices getting on your POV, like on the camera, I think that happens. That was good. I liked that. Also, I wrote the gape, TM. I think she gaped a lot. And there's I complained about this in her bug reports already, but yeah, like when you're doing like the missionary thing, like her legs aren't quite positioned right. It looks like she has 3 butt cheeks. I think you're working on that though.
That has already been fixed.
Yeah, I played this a little while ago.
Okay,
I trusted you to get it fixed.
There has been updates since you have last played it.
The last thing I want to say is that the nude aspect, like it's specifically a nudist camp, right?
Yes, it's like you and her at a nudist camp alone. I know that's maybe not the most thrilling, like because Nadeshiko, like the idea here is that Nadeshiko enjoys being outside, but she doesn't. But she isn't somebody. But she isn't like but she isn't an exhibitionist. Like she's like I'm gonna go like instead of like I don't like she's not somebody who would actively show off. She's just like I mean, I like to. She's more like I'm gonna find a nice isolated part of the woods, and I'm going to, and I'm gonna masturbate there.
I mean, that's all. That's all well and good. It's just that the fact it's a nudist camp is kind of irrelevant because there's no other characters anyway.
I don't know. It just wasn't really what I was. I don't.
It's just you two. Like you were alone. Like you could have just fucked.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't want to.
It's fine. It's fine.
It's like with SPNatI in particular. Like Nadeshiko is not somebody who would actively like show herself off. Like the reason she doesn't in SPNatI is because she's in a very very isolated environment, and she's willing to kind of like she knows no one's gonna go peeping on her, so she feels like super comfortable showing herself off in like a small setting like that. But
okay, well, on the whole, it's nice, it's simple, it's fun, good stuff.
All right. Well, I appreciate you've come around on Nadeshiko. I mean, I know that's. I know you were a little pretty critical of her last couple podcast episodes she was on. So it's nice to see that you've come to really enjoy her. Maybe enjoy her is a strong word, but
I don't really play with her that much. What would make me like her more is that if you replied to my targets. That makes me like a character. Nothing to say, huh?
Sorry.
Okay. Well, thanks for coming on regardless. Thanks for talking about this and the other topics as well, all these updates and alt skins. Do you or Nord have any comments on them to end things off?
Well, if you haven't played Nadeshiko's Epilogue, please play it. I'm super proud of it, and I have a lot more with Nadeshiko coming. Like I said, I've got plenty of alt costumes in the works. I have a female version of the Epilogue is on its way. It will not be that different. It's just 2 seams swapped around. You'll see it when it comes out. 2 of the sex scenes altered, and then there's also and of course, like I said, plenty of alt costumes. There may or may not be a second Epilogue ever made. I have a script for it, but I've not done anything with it. And so where like the entire camp cast will get involved in the shenanigans. So we will see we'll see. That one's probably not ever coming out, but we'll see. It just depends on how I feel.
Nord?
Feel bad that my Wii Fit balance board is just there in the corner of my room, gathering dust, but I don't even have a TV that's compatible with the Wii anymore.
The Wii Fit Trainer is very disappointed in you.
The Wii's got the RCA hookup.
Listen, how many calories can I burn if you leave me in a room with her for 4 hours?
I still have an RCA TV. Well, so much for cooking. This whole episode, it was all recycled recipes and extra seasoning. Just a couple extra ingredients thrown in there. Thanks for coming on, Tweetsy, and thanks as always, Nord. Stay tuned for next time. We'll serve up some actual brand new dishes.
I can't wait.
Thanks, everybody.